Hello and welcome to our 51st session, and let's continue with our UI prototyping game. In our previous session, we have added a score display to our UI, but there are other critical UI elements we need to add for a fully playable game experience. As of now, the player just get to continue playing, raking up score even after they have lost. So by the end of this session, when the player loses, the game over screen will appear, and when the player clicks on the restart button, everything will reset and they will again start playing. We have to make the game restart when the player clicks the restart button. So here's how we are going to do it. It's basically like very quickly stopping and restarting your game. We will add something called an event listener. It's called an event listener because it's carefully listening to all the events the user is performing on the screen. Buttons really can be an excellent event listener. So to make all that happen, let's dive into Unity. As usual, let us first launch Unity Hub. Come into the projects. We can continue with our UI_prototype 4 project, which we had concluded in our previous session. If you doesn't have this project, don't worry. You can click on the new project. In the template, select SRP Universal 3D. Come into the project name, and I am going to call this as UI_prototype 5. And in eUnity project, click on Create Project. Now as Unity is getting loaded, come into the YouTube page or in your e-learning page. If you scroll down in the description, click on More, and here you are provided with a Patreon link. Click on this Patreon link to open the Programmer Series Patreon page. So when you come into this Junior Programmer Series Patreon page, scroll down, and here you are provided with 51_UI GameOver start.unitypackage file. Click on this to download it. Also, if required, download Sartwick_layout.wlt file. Once Unity is launched, come into the project panel. You have a Readme file here. Come into the inspector and click on Remove Readme Asset, and in the confirmation window, click on Proceed. Now in the project panel, we don't need this input system_action file also. Right click and choose Delete, and in the confirmation window, choose Delete. Now if your work layout is not as you are seeing in the video, and if it is different, then you come to the top right corner in this layout panel and choose the Sartwick layout. If Sartwick layout is not available here, click on Load Layout from File, browse to the Downloads folder, select Sartwick_layout.wlt and click on Open. Come into the project window, Asset, right click and choose Import Package Custom Package. Now select the 51_UI GameOver Start Unity package which you downloaded just now and click on Open. Now in the Import Unity Package dialog box, see that all is selected and click on the Import button. Come into the project panel, open Scene, select UI_prototype scene, double click to open it. Select this sample scene, right click and choose Delete, and in the confirmation window, choose Delete. Now coming into the hierarchy panel, select background, come into the scene and press F. Alt left click to turn around. I will now come here and enable 2D. When we actually create a new project and import asset, there will be no information about the tags and layers that we have used in our project. In our previous session, we had created a new layer and that layer has to be recreated. Come to the inspector. In layer, I will click on default and I will click on add layer, and in user layer 3, I am going to call this as target layer and press enter. Come back to UI prototype and here select GameManager and see that target layer is set to target layer here, and also come into my prefab, select bad one with shift press select till good 3 all the 5 files and see that they are attached with this layer target layer. Now let us first add our UI component for the game over screen. The game over screen will consist of a game over text and also a restart button. I will come into the game view and I will change this from free aspect to full HD 1920 into 1080. I will come into the hierarchy, select UI canvas and double click so that I can see the entire canvas here. I will right click and come into UI. And now I am going to add a panel, and I am going to call this panel as Game Over Panel and press enter. Now in this Game Over panel, I will come into inspector and in image, I will switch it off. Inside this Game Over panel, right click and I am going to come into UI and I am going to now add a text Text Mesh Pro. Now I am going to call this text as GameOver text. You can see at the center it is appearing as new text. I will come into the inspector and in text input I will change it to GameOver, and then in the font asset I will click on the dot here, scroll up, and I will change it to Indie Flower. I will close it. I will make the font little bigger. I will make it 100, and also in vertex color I will click it and select a dark red color. Now you can see it is not correctly placed. I will scroll down, and in alignment I will choose center align, and in text wrapping mode I will choose normal and remove no wrap here, and in font style I will make it bold. Move it a little to the top. So I will come into red transform, and along the Y axis I will move it by 100 units. Now I will come back to my GameOver panel. I will right click, and I am again going to come into UI. I am going to add a button component, and this button component I am going to call this as restart button. I will open this, select the text, press F2. I will call this as restart text. Come into the inspector, and in text input I am going to type restart. Font asset, I will click on the right side dot, and I will choose Indie Flower, and I will set its size to something like 48. I will also make it bold. Now the width is not enough, so I will come back into the restart button now. I will increase its width to 200, and height I will increase it to 60. I will slightly move it down by around minus 50 unit. In the button mode, in highlighted color I will click here, and I am going to select a green color. Now this GameOver panel should not be visible initially, and it should be visible only when the GameOver logic is fulfilled. I will come here into the project panel scripts, double click on GameManager and open this. If it asks to trust author, I will click on yes, I trust the author. As we have declared all these variables, after this private int score, I will press enter, add two forward slashes, variable to refer to the GameOver panel. Press enter, and I am now going to declare a public. The type of this variable is a game object, and I am going to call this as GameOver panel, and I will end it with semicolon. When the game starts, if I come into on start, when the game starts, at the top here in the first line, I am going to call this GameOver panel, and I am going to set its set active function, and I will add open close bracket and end it with semicolon, and inside this I will set it to false. So when the game starts, this GameOver panel will be hidden. So I will go to file and save it. Let us come back to Unity and allow the script to compile. Come and select the GameManager, and now here you have the GameOver panel parameter. So I am going to come into UI canvas, drag my GameOver panel and attach it here. Now I will go to file and save it, and now if I execute the game and if I check it, see now as soon as the game starts, the GameOver panel is not visible. If I fail to click any of the game object, and if the game object goes and strikes the sensor, then the game should be declared over. So for that I will stop the playback. I will again double click GameManager and come into the GameManager script. I am now going to declare a new function. So I will scroll down completely to the down, and after this public void update, I will press enter twice, and I will declare a new public void function, and I am going to call this as GameOver, add open close bracket, press enter, add open close flower bracket, and inside this I will call my GameOver panel, and I will call the function setActive, add open close bracket and end it with semicolon, and here I am now going to set its value to true. Where are we going to call this GameOver? For this I have to now come into targets.cs file, and if you scroll down, we had added this on trigger enter function. When our game object goes and hits this sensor tagged object, then above this destroy game object, I will press enter, and I am now going to first call my GameManager, period instance, and in that I am now going to call my function GameOver, add open close bracket and end it with semicolon. Now I will go to file, save it, come back to Unity and allow the script to compile. I will come here, select the background, double click it. If I just zoom out and if I just tilt and show it, so here where is the sensor? The sensor is at the bottom here. If I play the game, when the game starts, see now the objects are spanned. This is a bad object, and when the object goes and hits, see the game over is appearing. So I will stop the playback. When the object is coming and hitting the sensor, I want the game over to appear only when the good objects come and hit the sensor. For bad object, the game over screen should not appear. So to apply this logic, I will come here and open the target script. Double click to open it. In the last particle system explosion particle, after this I will press enter, add 2 forward slashes, variable to find out whether the spanning object is good or bad, and I will declare a public, and the type of variable is bool, and I am going to call this as is good and end it with semicolon. Then if I scroll down here in the on trigger enter, we are calling this GameManager instance GameOver. I will come into this code block and add a condition. If add open close bracket, I will check for the condition is good, and if this is good condition is true, then I will press enter, add open close flower bracket, open the flower bracket. Now I will take this GameManager instance GameOver, this entire line I will cut it and paste it into this. Now if I come to file, save it, come back to Unity, allow the script to compile. I will select bad one and I will scroll down, and is good I will keep it off for bad one. For bad 2 also I will keep it off, but for good 1 I will change it, is good I will tick it on. For good 2 I will tick it on. For good 3 I will tick it on. Now if I come to file, if I save this and if I execute the game and if I check it, I got a good object. If I destroy it, see the game is not getting over. For bad you are not seeing the game over, but as it spans down, now these two are bad objects, and only when a good object comes and falls you are seeing game over and the game is coming to an end. Now I will stop the playback. When the game is over, I doesn't want this spawning to happen and also clicking and generating the explosion. None of this should work when this game over screen appears. So to apply this logic, I am now going to come into my GameManager, double click to open this. I will come into this lines, and after this game object GameOver panel, press enter, add 2 forward slashes, variable to check whether game is over, and I will call this public. It's a boolean, and I am going to call this as is game over, and its initial value will be false, and I will end it with semicolon. If you scroll down, we had declared this spawn objects IEnumerator function. We had called a condition here while true. Now instead of true here, I am now going to check the condition, is the game over. So I will call this is game over, and when this is false, only then all this has to be looped. But when is game over turns true, then this loop will be stopped. I will come to file and save this, and similar to this, I have to also come into my target file. In on hit, all the commands that we are asking it to execute here, this should be executed only when the game is not over. So in on hit also, I am going to come into this code block, add an if condition, and I am going to check for the condition is game over. I cannot call it directly. I have to first call my GameManager period instance, and in it I will call this is game over, and only when this is game over condition is false, only then I will add open close flower bracket, open the flower bracket, all these 3 lines of code should be executed. So I will select it, Ctrl X, cut it, come into this code block and paste it. So I will press tab and align it correctly. If I come to file, save it. Now this condition is game over, which is false. When will it turn true? I have to now come into GameManager, and if you scroll down, we had declared a function here, GameOver. And when this GameOver function is called, in this code block, first I am going to now call this is GameOver, and it will be set equal to true and end it with semicolon. Now I will go to file, save the GameManager file. See that both the files are saved here. Come back to Unity, allow the script to compile. Now if I play the game and if I check it, you are having a good object coming, I destroyed, but if the good object goes down and once the game is over, now the spanning should stop. See, the spanning has stopped and no click events are happening. So this logic is now working fine, and one last logic that we have to apply here is when I click on this restart button, the game should restart. Stop the playback. Now I will come back here to my GameManager script, and in the first lines, you have so many using lines here. After this Unity engine input system, I will press enter and I will call using Unity engine and period. Now I am going to call a function called scene management and end it with semicolon. Whenever you have to navigate between scenes or load a scene or remove a scene, we use scene management. Scroll down completely to the down, and after this game over function, after this closing flower bracket, I will press enter and I will declare public void a function, and I am going to call this as restart game. Add open close bracket, press enter, add open close flower bracket, and inside this flower bracket I will now call my scene manager period. I will ask it to load scene. Which scene it has to load? In open close bracket, end it with semicolon, and inside this I will again call my scene manager period. I will get active scene, then I will add open close bracket period build index. So this active scene, because we have only one scene, whichever is the active scene, we want that scene to be reloaded. Now I will go to file and save this. Now come back to Unity, allow the script to compile. I will now come here into my game over panel, open it, and I will select the restart button. And we have created the restart button, but we have not added any functionality to it. So I will scroll down and you have one OnClick event here, readily available for buttons. I will click on the plus button here and I am going to drag my GameManager and attach it as the object here. And in function, I will click, come into GameManager, and I will call this restart game function. I will come to file, save it, and now if I execute the game and if I check it, the game has started. I have a bomb coming down. See, once the game is over, the spanning has stopped. If I click on the restart button, see now again fresh the game has started. So whenever I am clicking the good objects, the score is moving. I should not hit the bad object, but if I leave the good object to fall down, then the game becomes over. We have successfully added this game over screen, and also we have added restart button and added functionality to it. With this, we are going to conclude this session, and in our next session, we are going to add different level of difficulty in our game. Right now, I will stop the playback.